Learning how to look privileged and elegant is good. All of these elegance content out there teaching you how to dress better, look expensive on a budget, the kind of haircut that's going to make you look more elegant or so-called old money, how to do your nails, the types of shoes you need to wear, the kind of bags, you educate yourself with designer items, how to make yourself look elevated. You're also looking to get a better job, make more money, pursue a prestigious type of education that's going to make you stand out. All of that is great. However, if your behavior does not match, people will treat you based on how you tell them you deserve to be treated. Hey Changemakers, it's Julieta. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to discuss the difference between the privileged and oppressed, or so-called the prey mindset. If you have been getting into toxic relationships, getting scapegoated at work, running into really difficult and complicated friendship situations, if you have a hard time with being respected, being seen as a leader, somebody important and significant, then you need to tune into today's video. Anytime you have an interaction with people, whether you're just sending one text message or having a full-on conversation, or you're working on a project with a team of people, you're giving them an experience of you. No matter what your intentions are, how you come across impact how people feel about you. And based on that data of how they feel about you, they will treat you exactly how they believe you deserve to be treated, or rather, what they can get away with you. If you do not embody a privileged mindset, you do not come across as somebody who is deserving of respect. Even though you may be in a leadership position, they do not feel the desire or the magnetic drive to give you the respect that you deserve, to see you as an authority figure. You need to set those expectations through your conduct, through every little micro interaction you have with these people. To help you understand the concept of the privileged mindset and embodiment, I'm going to start explaining to you what an oppressed or a prey mindset and embodiment looks like. Overextending, overgiving, making other people comfortable, in the process discarding yourself, are typical symptoms of an oppressed or prey mindset. You are conditioned to believe in the good of others. You believe in service. And a lot of this mental programming comes through culture, family expectations, gender expectations, and religion as well. That is the formative conditioning that turns you into what I call the good girl archetype. The good girl is oppressed. She is a servicer, giver, and she does not consider the value of her resources. She does not understand her own value and worth as an individual. She gives away her time freely without even thinking. While she's giving herself away for free, she's hoping and wishing that people will see this and return the favor, and it often doesn't happen. Typically, instead, what ends up happening is that when people no longer see a fit for her, or when she's no longer happy with being the giver, she'll be discarded. A lot of heartbreak and hurt ensues. She will also end up taking the burden of the blame and scapegoated. Through her conduct, she has positioned herself as somebody who is willing to take all the crap and be okay with it. People have already observed from the smallest to the bigger interactions they had with her that she is low risk, meaning they can treat her this way, get everything that they want, and get away with it. As a result, they increase their gain and, of course, experience powergasm, ready to conquer more. Because the oppressed person gave away her energy, time, resources, even money for free, she is constantly in a scarcity mode, which means she can never ever stop working. And also because she positions herself as a support role but dependent on other people, she rarely has leverage, meaning she doesn't have other means, resources, a network, that she can easily turn to when these relationships do not work out for her. She digs herself into this situation by fully investing in this one person or one company or one organization or community, meaning for the people who are using her, she's low risk, but she herself is in a high risk and vulnerable situation. This isn't just a one-time thing for the good girl or the oppressed person. It's a constant lifelong situation and a pattern. The symptoms that we see here is never being able to stop working, constantly looking for validation and approval, fighting to be seen and heard while continuously not understanding her value in capitalism. You can easily now see why the oppressed, the prey mindset embodied person is often the victim of an unfortunate situation. Why they work so hard with not much to show for. Because they've given so much away, there's not much that has built up. Principally, the privileged mindset embodiment is understanding capitalism and playing by the rules, is riding the waves of how the world works and how people work. An elegant person is a professional. That means she knows her value and has a strong sense of self, and therefore all her resources are gate-kept until it is appropriate for her to barter, trade, or sell for her to gain more privilege. It doesn't matter what kind of designer outfit you're wearing or whether you're carrying an Hermes bag. If you don't know your own value and you don't know how to gatekeep and sell your value, while you continuously grow and gain more privilege in capitalism, whether that's money, fame, influence, building your reputation in your industry, all of the above really, then you're not playing your cards right. A privileged person knows exactly how to do this. Social elegance is doing all of the above, is seeing yourself as a product of capitalism, marketing and selling yourself to get more of what you want. You need to grow yourself as an asset. You need to make yourself even more covetable with each move that you make. When you know your value and worth and you know how much your skills, experience, time, and energy go for, you don't settle. How you do one thing is how you do everything. This is not only about your career and business. This is about how you discern and channel your resources, time, energy, money. We have limited resources. When you follow the laws of capitalism as a privileged person, you create a ton of options in your life. You have a reputation, so you don't have just this one job that you're working for. You are being headhunted constantly on LinkedIn. You're not just dating this one dude hoping that he'll propose. You've got 10 dudes after you. And so you're going to go to the highest bidder, and even that person is going to be kept on their toes. If you depend on one source, whether that's one job or one dude to meet your needs, then that's a risk factor. When you see it from a business perspective, that's a risk. Then you're going to put yourself in a vulnerable position with the risk of being abused or exploited. And that's what an oppressed person does. They put their head down, they just focus on their work, or they focus on the person in front of them. They channel everything they've got, putting themselves in this vulnerable, risky situation. A privileged person knows better. They're always building this kind of network and leverage and reputation. They're doing all of that while they're getting paid, while they're being respected and growing their reputation. This is social elegance. The second part of social elegance is discernment. In order to be a powerful person, you need to read people well because people are your risk factors, and privileged people are taught from when they're very young, from their parents, how to do this well. And not just parents, they often have mentor figures as well. Education used to be gatekept for privileged people only. It used to be only for upper class. Nowadays, there's a lot of accessibility when it comes to education, but the education that people get is very limited. It teaches you how to be an employee. It teaches you how to have an oppressed mindset, following rules, doing time basically, and learning what you need to learn to become a good follower in society. What privileged people always had was mentorship. They'll often have a philosopher or somebody like a sage to guide them and to make very important decisions. If you look at emperors and kings of the past, they always had an advisor. Education for the privileged always involved mentors such as these types of people I just mentioned. people who really understand how the world works and how people work and operate and how to make the best decisions so you can get what you want. The kings and emperors of the past would have guidance on how to win battles and wars. And nowadays, what we have is battling the forces of capitalism, handling people who want to gain more privilege, and dealing with these people that we call leeches and sharks and those who want to use you, dealing with people who have bad intentions towards you or become your counterforces, those who throw obstacles in your way. An oppressed person isn't ready to handle the world because they don't quite understand how the world works. The world was made by the privileged people, and an oppressed person is supposed to follow all that. So it doesn't matter that you put on this old bunny outfit or whatever, because you do not have the embodiment to make something happen, even if you were to get into a circle like that. Let's say you are invited to some kind of dinner, so you go to those dinners, but in your conduct, in your behavior, it shows that you're oppressed. People are not going to be impressed by you. You can be in the right place, right time, but your behavior pushes people away. Even though the education system is accessible to everybody, let's say that you went to Ivy League, I've worked with people who have gotten really high prestigious education. But still, what is not taught in these institutions is how to navigate capitalism, how to become successful in patriarchy if you're a woman, how to overcome racial biases effectively in the workplace and in any circles and communities where people congregate. That kind of knowledge is gatekept exclusively in the privileged communities, the types of people who are making things happen. If you observe that a product is selling really, really well, or a brand becomes very famous, it's because they really understand CPR, capitalism, patriarchy, and racism, racial biases. The marketing and sales is all pitched based on that and meeting the desires of people based on these power hierarchies and people's desires of wanting to become more privileged. To become the movers and shakers of the world, you have to shed your oppressed mindset that is seeing the world through rose-colored glasses, being that overgiver, overachiever, overextender without really looking at, okay, what are my long-term goals and what must I do to actually get there? What are the important tasks and what are the tasks that are not that important that I can skip through? Or maybe I can half-ass through this, but then really focus on what really matters. This is what privileged people do. Oppressed people just put their head down and do their work, and they want to deliver 110% without thinking about what is the overall impact and how am I using my resources? Am I being effective in getting what I want? Privileged people also already feel free, and they have a certain way of thinking that is very concise and structured, that when they open their mouth and they convey an idea, you'll be received well by others. In my video from last week, which I'll link up here, if you look in the comment section, somebody said, oh, social elegance is basically tact. Yes, tact, however, is a very subjective word because we must take into account the human condition. Not only the human condition, but how we're being perceived based on the human condition. And we can't go too far against the expectations of what people think, feel, and expect from us when they first see us. It doesn't matter if you're wearing designer top to bottom, carrying Hermes handbag, if your behavior is tactless. If you go out there thinking, I'm going to conquer the business world, I deserve to get paid more, and as a woman or a woman of color, you start acting like a white man, that's going to truly rub people the wrong way. You're going to create a lot of counter forces coming at you, wanting to take you down and put you in your place. Equally problematic is your desire for justice and needing to fight for it. That is an oppressed person's approach to that. They'll relentlessly fight without looking at, is this effective? Is this going to be received well by others? It doesn't matter how you're dressed, how you do your hair and do your nails. If you come across that jarring and you make people feel confused and really, really uncomfortable, which is, again, the opposite spectrum of overgiving that we just discussed, then you're also going to invite a lot of counterforces and get scapegoated too. So what is the privileged mindset embodiment? is covert power play to go along with how you present yourself. Obviously, you understand you do not need to wear expensive clothing to look elegant, classy, or privileged. It's how you put it together. Similarly, you need to have healthy standards. You have to understand which are pink flags, red flags, and scarlet red flags. Typically, when you have underprivileged or oppressed mindset standards, then you think that a scarlet red flag is something normal, or you may think of it, you may minimize it in your mind. Oh, that's just a pink flag. No, it's not. But through this thinking process that you have, the standards that you hold, you allow people to treat you a certain way when they're constantly testing you to see how much of a risk you would be. What would happen if I try this on this person? Okay, can I get away with more? And basically, you set the standard based on your own standards of what you deserve. A privileged woman who wants a relationship would never be in a situationship. She would never pine over somebody who is not emotionally available or not available at all. She would have a certain command when it comes to this is the minimum requirement, and the minimum requirement is going to be much, much higher than an average person, because let's face it, most people in our society are operating from the oppressed prey embodiment. And this is not about changing everybody, but if you resonate with this message, you have to start looking at yourself and discerning where you are operating from low standards, giving yourself away, and setting yourself up for pain, hurt, scarcity, and even failure. A high value woman doesn't just become a high value woman because she decided one day. A high value woman learns to look at herself from the perspective of habits. You are made of habits, and the habits that you have come from having to fight against a lot of limitations, oppressions, disrespect from your community, your family. And when you go out in the world and you embody and demonstrate just that, that's exactly how you are allowing yourself to be treated again. The process of growth is recognizing parts of you that you think is completely normal, natural, and who you are, as if there is some part of your identity, to shed that misconception and to start seeing yourself as a person who embodies a bunch of habits. And when the habits no longer serve you because they keep inviting these types of disrespect and loss, then you need to retrain yourself to embody the habits of a privileged, high value person. And in our channel, in our community, we call this embodiment the bad bitch mindset and becoming the bad bitch. The first thing you need to do right now is to look at how you spend your time. Giving yourself away for free is an absolute no-go. You need to have a purpose and intention when you're giving anything away for free, and free has a clear limit. You need to be seen, get paid, and build yourself to have better leverage so you can keep increasing your position in the power hierarchy. And this is the only way you're going to be successful, happy, and fulfilled. A high value, privileged minded person would never, ever subject herself to settle in a job. If you have to be in a place that is underpaying you right now, it has to be temporary. And you never, ever accept scarcity as an option. You do whatever it takes to meet your minimal standards. And when your minimal standards are high, comfort and ease are your standards, and you do whatever it takes to meet them in record time. When you know your value and worth, you do not settle in toxic relationships, not ever. You do not keep friends who are sort of passive aggressive and don't really see your value. They just kind of come around to hang out with you, so both parties are not feeling lonely. That is not your standard. Anybody and everybody who's around you has to want to see you succeed. You only have room for those people. Your energy is so valuable that you gatekeep that too. With privileged mindset embodiment, you treat yourself better because that's what you deserve. You give yourself enough rest, quality food to eat, plenty of sleep, and you take plenty of time off, because privileged people are not workhorses. They give themselves plenty of time to reflect, to think. That's why they play golf and go yachting. They spend a lot of time where they can reflect and get their creative juices going. Relaxation is the best way to become more productive and effective. And it's not about the amount of time that you spend, it's about how effective you are in a short period of time. That's effectiveness that matters. Instead of just upgrading your clothing, your hair, your nails, your shoes, bags, and looks overall, you need to upgrade your mindset. You need to look at your habits and upgrade your habits to become the person who's capable of creating the kind of abundant, successful, privileged life that you are striving for. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of this video. If you have any questions, please drop them down below. To do the work with me, you can join Unleash Social Elegance Accelerator, our group program that is designed to help you learn how to navigate and win in capitalism by knowing your value, understanding how the world works, and how to position yourself, and also how to read people accurately, how to leverage them, how to protect yourself from certain types of people so you can become that powerful connector, networker, and achiever who you desire and deserve to become in this lifetime. The good girl waits and the bad bitch takes action, because in business, in capitalism, time is of the essence. So right now, go down to the description below and check out the resources on how you can get started. It doesn't matter what income level you're at, you can get started. First of all, at $0 level, we have our Changemaker community. We host regular meetings there. It is completely free. There are also several different courses, including the Social Elegance Masterclass, that you can access for $0. So you have no excuse. The next option that's going to cost you a little bit of money is to read my books, whichever one that resonates with you the most. But the most popular one is Bad Bitch on Top. So you can check out the link for that down in the description as well. The next step is going to cost you a little more investment. If you have gone through the process to watch the Social Elegance Masterclass, you can access the Social Elegance Accelerator course, which is a do-it-yourself course to get started in this process. When you're truly committed and you're ready for much more, meaning you're ready to excel in your leadership position, to become successful where you are right now as a professional, then you have to get into the habit of investing in yourself. Like I already mentioned, mentorship is the privileged people's secret weapon. It's existed for centuries, thousands of years. If you look at upper class people, they've always had mentors. If you look at kings and queens, aristocrats, and cross-culturally, it doesn't matter what culture, they've always had mentors and people who are like coaches, who are their advisors, who teach them about many of the aspects I just shared with you, namely with how the world works, how to gain more privilege, and how to deal with difficult relationships. So if you're in the place as a professional ready to invest in this area, then the option is to join our group coaching program, Unleashed. To do that, you must first opt into the masterclass, do some of the DOI course, and then book a call through the course to speak to me or my team to make sure that we are a fit. Thank you so much for watching. It is always my pleasure to bring you more social elegance topics to help you elevate your life. When you target these specific areas and you improve them, I guarantee you that your life, no matter where you are right now, significantly get better. Thanks again for watching. It's Julia Cha. See you in my next video.